I suppose we can get started because we have a schedule to keep. All right, so let's get started. First of all, hello everyone. Welcome to ACM Sigmetrics 2021. My name is Longbo Huang. I'm from Tsinghua University, and I'm the general chair of the conference. So in this opening, I'm going to give you an overview of the conference, and then after that, the TPC Chairs will give an overview of the technical program. So let me get started. So the conference was originally planned to take place during this week in Beijing, China, as a physical conference. But then in December last year, the organizing committee and the Sigmetrics board decided that we want to make it an entirely online conference. It was a pity because there are many interesting attractions in Beijing, and we had already been planning to show everyone around. But hopefully we have other opportunities to welcome you all to Beijing in the future. And then after the plan was made, the local team here decided to develop an online platform for the conference. And so finally we chose to do it with GatherTown plus Zoom. And we have a few objectives in mind when we're doing it. First of all, we want to show you some virtual attractions in Beijing. And then we want to allow paper discussions, real-time interaction and socializing, also even to provide some entertainments. And so the figure here on the left shows the online venue that we developed for the conference. It has 4 rooms: the Summer Palace, the Great Wall, the Bird's Nest, and the Temple of Heaven. As you all know, these are famous attractions in Beijing. And also we have a poster room for the student research competition. There is also a chat room for people to gather and discuss with each other. And even in the main lobby, there are tables and chairs where people can sit down and have conversations. And so down here, we put a few small online games, including a Sudoku or online piano, so that people can play together during the breaks. And then we also chose the presentation format carefully to encourage discussions. And in particular, we will do a live presentation for award talks, keynotes, and invited talks. And then for regular papers, we will do recorded video and live Q&A. With the help of ACM, we were able to provide guidelines to authors to prepare their videos. And the videos, including recorded live talks, will be available on the ACM Digital Library and the Sigmetrics YouTube channel after the conference. So in case you haven't got a chance to explore the online platform, here are a few features that I would like to tell you more about. The first one is real-time interaction. So if you move your avatar on the map, when it gets close to others, there will be a video and audio connection that's going to be set up automatically so that you can talk to people. So in the conference room, there is a podium, and once you stand there, you'll be visible to the entire audience in the room. And so there is also a poster discussion. If you go to the poster room, you can actually move close to the poster to talk to the author and other attendees. And there are also tables, so you can sit down with a few friends and have a private conversation. And we also created this virtual booth to acknowledge our sponsors. And as I said, there are also entertainment small games, so feel free to explore them. And so here's the conference schedule summary. And so yesterday we had 4 workshops, CINS, DCC, MAMAR, and RLNQ. They went very well. And then starting from today to Thursday, we have the main conference, including 2 award talks, 3 keynotes, the technical program, and invited talks. And on Friday, we have 5 tutorials. So the TPC Chairs will introduce the technical program in the details. So let me tell you more about the conference. And so this year we have 3 very exciting keynote speeches from 3 world-renowned pioneers. And in particular, Professor Sanjeev Arora from Princeton will tell us about the exciting development in the deep learning theory. And then Dr. Xiaowen Hong from Microsoft will share with us his in-depth insight on how to infuse AI into cloud computing systems. And Professor Leandro Stasioulas from Yale, who was also our Sigmetrics Achievement Award winner last year, is going to share with us on how to make network edge services more intelligent. So these are all very interesting topics, and we strongly encourage you to attend whenever possible. And here's the schedule of their talks. And all the keynote talks are going to take place starting from 10:45 a.m. US Eastern Time. So please mark them on your calendar. And as I said yesterday, we had 4 workshops: CINS, DCC, MAMAR, and our IRNQ. So in particular, the first 3 of them have been with the Sigmetrics for several years. And IRNQ is a new workshop that's just launched this year. And we also want to thank all the workshop organizers for organizing the nice workshops. And we certainly hope to continue to work with them, work with you in the future Sigmetrics. And on Friday, we will have 5 tutorials. I think topics are very interesting. We have caching, we have prediction, security and privacy. We also have coupling techniques and drift methods. So please don't miss them. And this year also, we introduced for the first time in Sigmetrics, the Sigmetrics Student Research Competition. It's sponsored by Microsoft. It also has a poster session and a presentation session. We encourage all of you to attend them and to interact with our student finalists to check out their cool research. And also with the sponsorship from DD Facebook and the support from NSF, we were able to fully fund the more than 70 student attendees this year. Okay, so that was the general overview of the conference. And next, I'm going to present the Sigmetrics Awards on behalf of the Sigmetrics board. So the first one is the Sigmetrics Achievement Award. And this year's award goes to Professor Srikant from UIUC for his outstanding contributions towards unifying optimization, control, and stochastic networks for the design and analysis of computer systems and communication networks. So congratulations. And Professor Srikant's talk is actually going to be the first talk of the main conference, and it's scheduled right after the opening session. So please stay tuned for his talk. And the next award is the Sigmetrics Rising Star Research Award. And this year, the award goes to Professor Zhenghua Liu at Stony Brook University for his fundamental research on managing complex distributed systems with limited information and network constraints. So congratulations. And Professor Liu's talk is scheduled from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. on Thursday. Please mark that on your calendar and don't miss it. And the third one is the Test of Time Award. And this year, the Test of Time Award goes to the paper Greening Geographical Load Balancing by Zhenhua Liu, Minhong Lin, Adam Weirman, Stephen Low, Lachlan Andrew. And congratulations. And actually, we are going to invite Zhenhua to share with us a few words about this. So Zhenhua, you're up.
Oh, thanks, Longbo. I'm honored to receive this award, and thanks a lot for organizing the great conference, and thanks the Test of Time Award Selection Committee. And this actually reminds me of all the great memory when we actually write the paper almost 10 years ago. I will also take this opportunity to thank my co-authors. I cannot finish the paper without them. And actually in my Rising Star talk, I will also talk about this paper. So if you're interested, please come. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, Zhenhua, and congratulations again to all the award recipients. All right, so finally we have the acknowledgements. So I'm going to thank a lot of people who together we make this conference possible. And first of all, I want to thank our 3 wonderful TPC chairs, Ansu Gandhi, Nega Kiavash, and Jiawang. Their leadership and dedication led to the solid technical program of this year. They've also given a lot of constructive inputs for the conference planning, and thank you very much. And next, I would like to thank all the organizing committee members. So our publication, the chair, Boji, so Bo actually took care of the entire paper publication, the process, and make it very smooth. Our publicity chair, Gauri George, she advertises the conference information whenever possible and maximizes the impact, the coverage. And our registration chair, Zhenhua Liu. So Zhenhua actually built the registration website. And then he took care of all the registration related issues very carefully. Sorry, I hear some other, I think volunteers speaking. Can you mute your microphone? Okay, I think that's good. And then our student activities chair, Julia Fanti. So Julia actually initiated the student research competition and organized the whole competition. And she also took care of the student grant process very nicely. And then our workshop chairs, Kwang Shi and Patrick Loiseau, they very efficiently assembled 4 wonderful workshops, and including a new one on reinforcement learning on networks and queues. So those went very well on the Monday, which was yesterday. And then our tutorials chair, Srinivas Chakatai and Lei Ying, they put together 5 very interesting tutorials. I'm sure you don't want to miss them. And our finance chair, Mingyu Gao. So Mingyu actually oversees the entire financial process very professionally to make sure that our budget remains good. And then the last one, the local chair, Zhishen Fang. So Zhishen has been working with me on almost all aspects of the conference planning, and he did a fantastic job on all of them. So I want to thank all the organizing committee members. I don't think the planning would have been possible without your dedication and effort. Thank you very much. And then I also want to take the opportunity to thank all our student volunteers from Tsinghua, from University of Michigan and Virginia Tech. And in particular, I want to thank Jiatai for taking the lead to organize the volunteer team and for developing our online conference platform. So he did most of the work. And I also would like to thank the generous support from our sponsors, in particular Didi and Facebook. And also many thanks to the Sigmetrics committees. They've been giving us a lot of timely advice and guidance throughout the planning process. I want to thank the support from ACM Sigmetrics and NSF. And I also want to thank our ACM contact, April Moskos. She's overseeing the entire planning of Sigmetrics, and she has been giving us very timely feedback and guidance. I also would like to thank Professor Adam Weirman for organizing the Highlights Beyond Sigmetrics session and invited 3 very nice speakers to talk about their cool research. I also want to thank Boji and Stratus for their NSF grant from last year. Actually, we also benefited this year because we used them to support many of the student attendees. And I think the last, I would like to personally thank Giuliano Casale, Liana Globchik, and Andrew Yao for their continuous support and advice during the entire preparation. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And right, so before I hand over to the TPC chairs, actually Giuliano asked me to remind everyone that we are going to have 2 information meetings on Thursday. One is the preview meeting. It's going to be given by the general chairs in 2022. And the other one is the Sigmetrics business meeting. So these are open to everyone. So please try to attend and give us input. All right, so I think with that, I'm going to stop here, and I hope you all enjoy the conference. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. So next I'm going to hand over to the TPC chairs. So let me stop.
Thank you, Longbo. I'll probably start sharing now.
Right, so I stop.
All right, give me 1 second. Hopefully that is visible.
Yes.
Okay.
So hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and I also want to thank everyone that helped us in this process. So as you know that this year we were supposed to be in Beijing. It's unfortunately ended up being virtual, but nonetheless, this was a joint effort by my wonderful TPC co-chairs Anshul and Gia, who did a lot of the work, and it was really a breeze to work alongside them. If I could have the next one, Anshul, please. Yes. So as we briefly saw, we have basically 3 days of talks that are going to present the accepted papers, and talks are organized into 2 tracks. So one track is going to be concentrated on learning and theory, while the other track is for the most part concentrated on measurement and systems. It actually contains one theory talk on June the 17th, and these are basically the main parts of technical program. Of course, this is also available on the conference's website in the schedule with more details. Thank you. So what happened this year is that we had 3 deadlines. So we had summer, fall, and winter deadlines. Because of the special situation, everything, all the TPC meetings were actually virtual, but we managed to still have very many interesting submission. In effect, we had 315 total submission across all the deadlines, and we made sure that every paper at the very least had 3 reviews, but many papers actually had more, and we sometimes even had to solicit external reviews up to even at times 6 reviews for a paper. And the outcomes were as follows. Either we accepted the papers, which every accepted paper came with shepherding, or we had this other process of so-called one-shot revision, which has been with us for a few years, where the papers went through this procedure of like having a second chance at actually getting reviewed again, addressing the requirements by the reviewers, or the papers, some of them unfortunately were rejected. In total, we had a acceptance rate of about 12%, so which is 38 papers were accepted, and all the papers that are accepted not only appear in the conference, but also actually they appear in the proceedings and POMAX. So one change this year was this introduction of so-called soft tracking. So the idea for this soft tracking was that each submitted paper actually had to identify a primary track as well as an optional secondary track. And the 4 options for the secondary track were learning, measurement, system, and theory. And this graph actually shows the histogram of distribution of the type of papers that we got. And the purpose of this was to actually better match reviewers with the papers that we received, but also we hope that it actually clarifies the scope of the submission as well to the TPC members, and it clarifies better how these papers are positioned. So I think I'm gonna now give the podium to Anshul, who is gonna discuss a little bit more about the procedure.
Thank you, Nigar. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I also hope you and your loved ones are staying healthy in these challenging times. So what I wanted to do was very quickly talk a little bit more about statistics, just building on what Nigar mentioned earlier. So this graph is showing you the number of submissions and accepts, and also the one-shots we had over the 3 deadlines. So we had the summer, fall, and winter deadlines. And you can see here in terms of the number of accepts, we did have a consistently increasing number of submissions over the 3 deadlines. I think this is usually what we've seen in prior Sigmetrics. So in the summer, we had somewhere about 90 submissions. And then at around the winter time, we had about 125 submissions, right? So that was a consistent increase. In all 3 deadlines, I think the number of accepts was somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. And then we had about 3 to 5 one-shots in each of the deadlines as well. And if you look at the per track number of submissions, which are shown in the colored sub bars over here, we kind of had, I guess, the submissions per track did vary a little bit. So I think in the summer, we had more systems track papers, I guess. And then in fall, we had more theory. And then in winter, we saw a rather large increase in the number of measurement submissions. So there were some seasonal effects, I guess. So in terms of comparing Sigmetrics 2021's statistics with prior editions, in terms of number of submissions, there was a healthy increase compared to 2020. So in the summer and fall deadlines, comparing to the corresponding deadlines in 2020, we saw about a 20% increase in submissions, which is a pretty healthy number. And then in the winter, though, we only saw a modest 6% increase. It's interesting to note that we saw an increase despite the COVID pandemic, right? maybe it gave everyone a chance to stay at home and churn out papers possibly, but we definitely did see an increase. And then compared to prior editions of Sigmetrics, so this is what we had for the last 10 years, I would say, starting from 2012. I'm showing you the number of submissions and the number of accepts. You could see that in terms of number of submissions, we were pretty much, 2021 was probably, we got most submissions this time. 2019 actually has the record so far. It had 317 submissions. 2019, however, was co-located with performance. When Sigmetrics is co-located with performance every 3 years, we do get a much larger share of submissions. But 2021 had a very healthy number of submissions as well. The number of accepts does fluctuate over time, as you can see. And so that gives you some sense of how we compared historically with prior editions. So I know Longbow thanked a lot of people. We actually have a much larger set of people to thank. It's the TPC. We had a relatively large TPC, as you can see. This was essentially done to increase participation on the TPC, but also to have a somewhat manageable load. Across the 3 deadlines, the TPC had to really review a lot of papers, and we wanted to ensure that we were not overwhelming them. We also had a long list of external reviewers, as you can see on the right-hand side. So as Negar had mentioned, we solicited additional reviews for papers where we needed more expert reviews, right? So we did have a lot of external reviewers as well. Lastly, I would also like to thank, of course, all the authors for submitting their excellent work to Sigmetrics. Also the Sigmetrics board and executive committee for helping us navigate some difficult cases and also setting the policy. I'll specifically mention Giuliano, Augustin, Sarah, Nicholas, and many of the others in the committee who helped us out. Our publication chair, Longbow already mentioned that, but I think Bo did so much work that he should be thanked twice. He had to make sure that a lot of things were streamlined. The proceedings and the POMAX PDFs, we have put in a link to those proceedings and POMAX on the main page now. I think the proceedings should be available right away, even without an ACM subscription. The POMAX version should be available shortly. I think the link is up there, but we're just having some trouble getting them available without subscription, but that should be done soon. And I would also lastly like to thank the Sigmetrics 2020 TPC co-chairs, Athena and Tay, for guiding us through some issues that we had to deal with. Okay, so now we're done with the boring stuff, I guess. We are ready for the awards. So I'll hand over to Gia at this point. Gia?
Thank you, Ashur. Now I'm going to talk about the most exciting part. So this year, we formed the award committee chaired by Sarah. And as you can see that we select a member from different areas expertise to make sure that we have good coverage in terms of the background knowledge. So to make sure that they have a good understanding on all the candidate papers that have been provided to them, and they have done a very good job on evaluating all the papers and nominate the 2 awards papers for this year's Sigmetrics program. So before I talk about the award winners, I would like to say a few words about the process. So for this year, we took the following process. During the review process, each of the PC chairs had the opportunity to recommend or nominate candidate paper to be considered for either the best paper award or the best student paper award. So based on that PC members nomination, so the PC co-chairs actually provide a list of candidate papers and provide that to the award committee. The award committee evaluate all the candidate papers and nominate a paper for best paper award and a second paper for best student paper award. So can I go to the next page? So now the best paper award goes to the Notch paper, Scott Castelli improving upon FCFS. The authors are from a group of researchers from CMU, Isaac Braruso, Kun He Yang, Steve Shuley, and more. The paper received this paper received the Best Paper Award because this is a paper design endurance and scheduling policy which uniformly improve all the tails of first come first serve in the case of light-tailed drop sizes and settles a fundamental open problem concerning the performance of FCFS. Congratulations to the authors. So now the second award is the Kenneth Sevcik Outstanding Student Paper Award. It goes to a look behind the curtain, traffic classification in an increasingly encrypted web. The authors are from University of Waterloo and Orange Lab. Ayman Akari, Mohammed Salahuddin, Shihan Wen, Noran Liman, Ralph Boltaba, Bertrand Massieu, Stephanie Motil, and Stephen Tuffin. So this paper was awarded as Best Student Paper Award because it designs a three-pronged machine learning algorithm to identify and classify encrypted web traffic while maintaining as protocol and state as possible with accuracies on real-world datasets exceeding 95%. Congratulations to the authors. Okay, so before we close out this session, I would like to send a reminder for the Sigmetrics 2021 technical program. The 3 days program contains 2 tracks, as Negar and Ashra mentioned. More detailed information are made available on the Sigmetrics web pages. Okay.
All right, cool. So thanks a lot to the TPC chairs. I think the next we're getting to the achievement award talk, and the talk will be chaired by Professor John Tiskis from MIT. So I'm going to hand over to you.